Today marks a very solemn anniversary. It was 3 years ago today that 13 brave service members lost their lives in a terrorist attack at the Abbey Gate just outside of Kabul airport. That was all part of the Biden-Harris administration's disastrous withdrawal of Afghanistan. I, for one, will never forget that day. In addition to our service members, there were more than 100 innocent Afghans who lost their lives that day as well. And who knows how many more lives have been lost as a result of the weakness portrayed by this administration on the world stage. Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is Congressman Keith Self. He himself served our country for over 25 years before retiring with the rank of lieutenant colonel. And I will just add, during his time of service, he deployed to Grenada, to Bosnia, to Afghanistan, Qatar. He was part of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and now he's a member of Congress. He serves the House Veteran Affairs Committee as well as the Foreign Affairs Committee. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Self, always an honor to have you on the program, my friend. Welcome back.
Good to see you, Jody. Thank you.
All right, so your thoughts, this somber 3rd anniversary.
First of all, I just really appreciated your news program just a few minutes ago, naming their names. This is the day to remember their ultimate sacrifice for the United States made because of the most disastrous political decision in the military realm in the last 100 years. There is no doubt President Trump was at Arlington National Cemetery today at the invitation of the families of the 3 members that are buried there at Arlington National Cemetery. So this is a day to remember them, but it's also a day to remember why they lost their lives.
Yeah, and listen, I thank you for noticing the reading of those service members' names. I likewise just, listen, we have to do that, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Congressman, I think a lot of people would argue that Afghanistan was probably the first domino to fall. It was the beginning of the global world stage encouraging bad actors like Russia and Hamas. Would you agree with that assessment?
More than that. We lost all our credibility with the weakness of the Biden administration. That's how disastrous that decision was. Not only did they make our brave service members withdraw overnight, leaving 9,000 American civilians there, over 100,000 Afghans that helped us, then the 13 service members we just talked about. And then within 2 months, Putin started moving troops toward Ukraine. That's how fast we lost our credibility on the world stage. Putin started testing us. Xi started testing us. Iran started testing us. Everyone realized we were weak at that point. At the political realm, our military is still strong. They still do what they are called on to do. But politically, the world recognized that we didn't have the political backbone to act as the superpower.
Yeah, and beyond that, I mean, I remember well the $85 billion plus of equipment that we left behind, and now we're watching that equipment being paraded across the world stage. Our equipment now being used against us. It's just the weakness was indescribable, and I think it's important for you to bring up the fact that it was only 2 months afterwards that Putin and Russia invade Ukraine. It's all interrelated. Listen, speaking of Israel, I hope you saw this a little while ago. The Israel Defense Forces, they announced, and we played a clip of it yesterday, that they have launched a preemptive attack on Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon in an effort to try to thwart a major and imminent attack to Israel. What can you tell us? What's the latest that you know about that situation?
I know exactly what's been reported in the news, but as I look at the strategic situation in the Middle East, I served, as you said, with the IDF for a couple of years while I was the desk officer at UCOM. I served in Afghanistan, and then I was in Qatar for the invasion of Iraq. So what I see strategically happening in Israel versus vis-a-vis Gaza and Hezbollah is they are deterring a major response both from Hezbollah and Iran. You'll notice that Iran has not launched their response as well. So I believe that Israel has actually started their strategic surgical strike campaign against Hezbollah. They're going after weapon systems, they're going after the leaders, they're going after the critical supplies. So I believe this is a long-term campaign that they are running with these surgical strikes, not all at once, through surgical strikes timed against threats.
Yeah, and I don't know the complete accuracy of all of this, but I was reading earlier that the thwarted attack could have been as many as 6,000 different drones and missiles being launched into Israel, and all of that was potentially thwarted through their preemptive and counter of that kind of attack. Don't you think, really, that the United States even would have reacted the same way? Were we in Israel's shoes? I mean, really, they have the right to defend themselves.
Absolutely, they have the right to defend themselves. I blame a lot of this, though, on the weakness of the Biden administration. Why do we have a third of our Navy in the Middle East focused on Israel and Gaza and Hezbollah? It's because of the weakness of the Biden administration caused this. And so we've pulled naval assets out of the Pacific, where our primary adversary is China. So this is a disaster all the way around in the making. I hope that we can settle this fast. We can get Hezbollah to move north of the Litani River, which is where UNIFIL is supposed to keep them. Jody, once again, we're seeing the UN fail in their mission. Just like they did in Gaza, UNIFIL is not keeping Hezbollah north of the Litani River to give that buffer zone to Israel. We need to establish that line at the Litani River. We need to use our assets to back up Israel and allow Israel to defend itself, just as you said.
Absolutely. Last question, and I always hate when you're on here, it seems like the time just runs by so rapidly, but how concerned are you about how things could unfold in the Middle East if we end up with a HarrisWaltz administration in November?
The Harris-Waltz Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration has showed that it leans toward Iran. It has coddled them just like the Obama administration has given them billions of dollars. We don't enforce the sanctions on their oil. We coddle Iran under the current administration. I have no doubt that the Harris-Waltz administration, should it happen, God forbid, should it happen, they will do that in spades. They will double down on that because we have two truly committed socialist communists on the Democrat ticket today. Make no mistake about it. I take Harris at her word. I take Waltz at his word. They, for years, have established their bona fides, their credentials in socialist communist policies.
Wow. Frightening in every way. Thank you, Congressman Keith Self from Texas. Always an honor to have you on Washington Watch. Thank you for all you do there in Texas, as well as for our great country.
Thank you, Jody.